Coming up on our newscast tonight. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un is traveling to Vietnam by train. U.S. President Donald Trump is set to arrive at the venue for their second summit on Tuesday. And while the world awaits the historic meeting, Vietnam is also busy by heightening security and double-checking on other venue-related matters. Pyongyang and Washington's key officials for the summit are constantly on the move, busy with summit preparations. Top negotiators have been holding talks daily since Thursday, focusing on the details of their joint declaration. Around 2,400 tech firms around the world are taking part in this year's Mobile World Congress in Barcelona, Spain. Even before the official opening, participating firms eagerly unveil their latest gadgets at the press event. News Center begins now. It's 8 p.m. here in Korea, live from our studio in Seoul. This is Arirang News Center. Welcome to our program. I'm Daniel Choi. We are less than 2 days from the start of the second North Korea-U.S. summit, and Hanoi is busy with preparations to greet the two leaders tomorrow. Standing by in the city is our Lee-Ji-won and Park Hee-jun. Let's go first to our Hee-jun, who is at the Melia Hotel. Hee-jun, I hear it's highly likely that it will be Kim Jong-un's hotel. How are things looking over there right now?
Daniel, it's almost certain that Melia Hotel is where Kim Jong-un will be staying throughout his stay in Hanoi. Now, there's been a lot of movement throughout the day today, and security has clearly gotten tighter. There have been trucks full of armed police officers heading in and out of the hotel throughout the afternoon, and they've been checking the perimeter for explosives. The roads surrounding the hotel have also been partially blocked, and inside the hotel, security devices have been set up to scan visitors. The hotel has also notified its visitors of the new security protocol, saying that it's for a visit by a head of state. Flowers are also being arranged in the shapes of the North Korean leader and American flags, all signs that Kim Jong-un will be using this venue. It was originally thought this place would serve as the White House press center. Either the hotel will be used for both purposes, or it's also possible that the White House could move its press center somewhere else. But an employee has confirmed that when I asked earlier that Kim Jong-un is indeed going to stay at this hotel.
Okay, Hee-jun, so when is the North Korean leader expected to arrive in Hanoi?
Well, Kim Jong-un is heading to the Vietnamese capital as we speak, and he's going to arrive tomorrow. Now, he's going to stop at the Dongdang station in Lang Son, the Vietnamese city on the border with China, where he's likely to take a car for the rest of his journey to Hanoi. According to numerous officials at the station, Kim is to arrive tomorrow morning. The station has been blocked temporarily, so no trains will pass in or out again until March 2nd. The 170-kilometer road to Hanoi will also be completely blocked off to outside traffic. Every corner of the Lang Son district is being patrolled by police officers. Employees have also been busy tidying up the station's exterior for days now. Now, President Trump, on the other hand, will set off for Hanoi soon near midnight Washington time, and he'll arrive in the city around midnight on Tuesday. And he's likely to go straight to JW Marriott, where he is expected to stay. Daniel.
All right, let's turn to our Lee-Ji-won right now. Working level officials from the two sides are using these last hours to fine-tune the details of what leaders Kim and Trump will be talking about and what will be in their agreement. So, Ji-won, we thought the day was over, but we're hearing that the top negotiators of North Korea and the U.S. just got in.
Yes, Daniel, just 30 minutes ago, U.S. Special Representative for North Korea Stephen Biegun came back to the hotel after spending about 8 hours somewhere else. And just 5 minutes later, his North Korean counterpart Kim Hyok-chol's car followed in as well. Now, we actually thought the day was over since the two have so far not started their talks this late. But the fact they're meeting at this time has prompted speculations that talks between lower-level officials might have not gone so well. At around 2 in the afternoon, Choi Kang-il, acting Director General for the Foreign Ministry's North American Affairs, was here for about 2.5 hours. His counterpart is expected to have been Alex Wong, the Deputy Assistant Secretary for East Asian and Pacific Affairs. But the late meeting could also mean that Choi and Wong did flesh out the details, and the top officials are just giving it a final check. Now, meanwhile, now that Biegun is in, there's a possibility that he will meet with the Japanese nuclear envoy Kenji Kanasugi, who is still in the hotel since he came here 2.5 hours ago.
Right, and JW Marriott is where President Trump is widely expected to stay. What kind of changes have you seen there so far?
Well, a source said that Biegun had earlier dropped by the JW Marriott Hotel. As Heejun said, President Trump is widely expected to stay there as he arrives in Hanoi late tomorrow. Now, it seems the security there has gotten tougher as well. There were fences around the building with a lot more security guards and police officers. Back to you, Daniel.
All right, thank you for the updates. We appreciate it. The world is eager to witness another historic meeting between the two leaders. To ensure detailed coverage of the historic event, the International Media Center in Hanoi is preparing to host reporters from all across the globe. Our Kan Young-woo files this report from the Vietnamese capital.
For the global media in Hanoi, the main communication channel for the summit is the Vietnam-Soviet Friendship Labor Cultural Palace. According to the Vietnamese Foreign Ministry, about 3,500 people have registered for press badges to get access to the International Media Center. That's about 1,000 more than the Singapore summit last June. Expecting some 3,000 journalists from all over the world, the International Media Center, set up here in the Vietnamese capital, has been gearing up to provide real-time coverage of the second North Korea-U.S. summit, and it will be officially up and running from Tuesday. The International Media Center provides a number of shared workspaces equipped with internet access and power outlets. There are also large monitors showing live feeds of all activities related to the summit. As the host broadcaster, Vietnam Television, or VTV, offers a number of services to the media.
Master control, an editing system, and a studio, or that can provide service for journalists. Not only from Vietnam, but also all over the world, come to the IMCs.
The Korea Press Foundation has also established the Korea Press Center inside of the International Media Center. The KPF will host experts forums on the summit topics. The International Media Center will be open 24/7 through March 1st, enabling the media to cover the summit around the clock. Kan Young-woo, Arirang News, Hanoi.
America's top diplomat sat down for an interview with Fox News. Mike Pompeo made it clear he's hoping truly meaningful steps can be taken in getting rid of the regime's nuclear weapons. Kim Yo-sun shares with us his remarks.
U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has expressed his hopes for practical progress to be made on North Korea's denuclearization during this week's second Pyeongyang-Washington summit. Speaking with Fox News Sunday, Pompeo said Washington's denuclearization policies remain the same and that its goal and mission are also very clear.
And now we're going to get to have a second summit where the two leaders can sit and have a frank, candid discussion, explore options, and I hope achieve what the ultimate end state is, creating a brighter future for North Korea and reducing the threat to the United States from the nuclear weapons that are today in North Korea.
However, he also didn't rule out the possibility that a real substantive step might not happen this time, explaining that if it requires more time, the U.S. will commit to that.
We're committed, and President Trump is committing to put in the hard work that it takes to get the outcome that the American people deserve.
Pompeo also highlighted the fact that the North's leader made clear his intentions to denuclearize during the first Kim-Trump summit held last year in Singapore. During a separate interview with CNN's State of the Union on Sunday, Pompeo said the Trump administration's stance on North Korea's denuclearization remains clear, and it has been calling for the process to be complete and verifiable. Kim Yo-sun, Arirang News.
President Moon Jae-in says Seoul will do its part, sparing no effort in providing full support for the endeavors aimed at peace on the peninsula. He also emphasized Korea is the one standing at the center of history. Shin Se-min has the latest from the top office.
As the leaders and their officials make their ways to the summit in Vietnam, South Korean President Moon Jae-in is getting ready for the possible resumption of inter-Korean economic projects. Speaking to his top aides during a weekly meeting, the president said that now is when it really begins and that South Korea should be front and center when North Korea's economy opens up.
역사의 변방이 아닌 중심에 서서 전쟁과 대립에서 평화와 공존으로 진영과 이념에서 경제와 번영으로 나아가는 신한반도 체제를 주도적으로 준비하겠습니다.
Giving his full backing for the Kim-Trump summit, President Moon said its success will be a critical moment in eliminating the danger of war and security risks on the Korean peninsula and in moving toward an era of peace and economic development. The South Korean leader's confidence in the economic potential of the post-sanctions era comes after a phone conversation with the U.S. president last week in which they discussed a resumption of inter-Korean economic cooperation as a way to speed up denuclearization. Hoping for the best out of the second historic summit in Vietnam, President Moon said the bilateral relations between the two Koreas and both of theirs with the U.S. have never been better, and added that he will promise a greater role for South Korea to take in the months to come. Shin Se-min, Arirang News.
The floor leaders of the nation's 5 major political parties adopted a joint statement expressing their support for the North Korea-U.S. summit. The statement included their hope for the meeting to set a new milestone in denuclearizing the peninsula. The leaders said the summit should take place based on the strong alliance between Seoul and Washington, adding that close cooperation with neighboring countries will be necessary down the road. Both ruling and opposition blocs vowed to keep close tabs on the latest developments over in Hanoi and to take bipartisan action if necessary. Business leaders in the Asia-Pacific considers North Korea a market with huge development potential, according to a survey by the Federation of Korean Industries on 100 business big names in the region. More than 2/3 expected tensions on the peninsula to ease if there are advances in the regime's denuclearization. Respondents believe improving relations between Seoul and Pyongyang will help boost the regional economy, and more than half said they will consider doing business in the north in the future, citing new business opportunities and relatively cheap labor costs. But they added lifting of economic sanctions and establishing an environment suitable for foreign investment would also be crucial. One of the focal points of the summit is whether the two leaders will declare an official end to the Korean War. Opinions vary on what a potential agreement might look like. Our Kim Mo-kyun turned to an expert for his take on the matter.
The declaration of the end of the Korean War was a key agenda at the first summit between North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and U.S. President Donald Trump in Singapore in June last year. The issue has been closely watched since the Panmunjom Declaration was announced in April last year, where the two Koreas first agreed to declare the end of war on the Korean peninsula by the end of the year and to work with the nations that conceived the Korean War armistice, namely the United States and China, and transform it into a definite peace treaty. The focus is once again on whether Kim and Trump would be able to deliver a groundbreaking statement during the upcoming summit in Hanoi on February 27 and 28. In addition, many experts are weighing in with predictions on the form of the declaration and how much progress could be made during the two-day meeting. A diplomacy expert said that the two leaders might include a clause in their joint statement that contains the preconditions for the treaty and a deadline.
I think it will be something in between a declaration of the end of war and a peace treaty. The two sides might be able to announce a peace statement where they will promise to fulfill each other's interest by compromising to take denuclearizing steps and easing sanctions step by step.
The expert also mentioned the possibility that the two sides could seek to adopt a four-party approach that involves all the signatories of the armistice agreement.
Another way is for Pyongyang and Washington to declare the end of war first, which will then be confirmed by Seoul and Beijing.
The expert added that even if the Hanoi summit does not bring out an expected outcome, progress on the peninsula's peace treaty is still something to look forward to, as long as Kim and Trump continue the momentum even after the summit. Kim Mo-kyun, Arirang News.
The U.S.-China tariff war may be softening a little bit. President Trump mentioned that both sides made substantial progress during the latest round of trade talks. Kim Il-sung gets us up to speed with the developments.
U.S. President Donald Trump tweeted on Sunday that he would extend the March 1st deadline that would see an increase in tariffs on Chinese imports, citing substantial progress in recent trade talks.
Great cooperation. We have great cooperation both ways with China, and a lot of good things are happening.
He has made positive comments over the third round of U.S.-China high-level talks that took place in Washington. The talks ran from Thursday to Sunday after being extended for an extra 2 days and covered intellectual property protection, technology transfers, currency, and other issues. Without a delay to the March 1st deadline, the 90-day trade truce agreed upon by President Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping in December on the sidelines of the G20 summit in Argentina would have come to an end, and import duties on $200 billion worth of Chinese goods would have jumped from 10% to 25%. The delay is likely to calm volatile financial markets. China also expressed optimism over the trade talks. China's Xinhua news agency said substantial progress was made on specific issues at the latest round of trade talks. In his Sunday tweet, President Trump also said he looks forward to a meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping at his Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida next month to conclude a trade agreement, assuming both sides make additional progress. Kim Hyun-sung, Arirang News.
The business operating condition for local SMEs is looking grim. According to the Korea Small Business Institute on Monday, the health index of such firms marked 75.2 points in January, down more than 5 points on month. The numbers have been dipping for 2 straight months. It measures how companies feel about the overall economy and their business operating conditions. A reading below 100 means pessimists outnumber optimists. The institute pointed to low domestic demand and the rise in wages as the main reasons. This Friday will mark the 100th anniversary of the March 1st movement carried out to free Korea from Japanese colonial rule. And for the centennial, officials say the government will award a posthumous Medal of Honor to a heroine of the movement, Yoo Gun-sun. Arrested for organizing protests against Japan at age 17, she was imprisoned and tortured and died before her 18th birthday. Yoo was posthumously awarded the Independence Medal in 1962. But this one is different. That was the third highest of 5 levels of state honors. This one will be either the first or second highest. A special exhibition to bring to light the issue of Japan's wartime sex slavery has opened in Seoul. Displayed are the original photos and records of Korean women and girls who were forced to serve at Japanese military brothels. Oh Seong provides a closer look.
A snapshot from the life of Park Yong-sim. The picture, taken in 1944 when Park was 23 years old, shows a barefoot woman slumped against a rock, unsmiling with her eyes cast down on her heavily pregnant belly. For 5 years, she had been a sex slave of the Japanese Imperial Army, removed from her home in Korea and taken to a military brothel in China. The original copy of this photo, along with 2 other originals of Korean comfort women, are on display for the first time at an exhibition in Central Seoul. Taken in Myanmar and China by US military photographers, only scanned copies were available until a research team from Seoul National University procured the originals from individual collectors.
These images are already well known as they are depicted in history textbooks, but visitors can feel the unique aura of the originals, which have aged with the victims for over 70 years.
The exhibition also shows newspaper clips, travel documents and footage of the women as they were moved around the continent following the spread of Japanese aggression. Historians say around 200,000 women from Korea, China and other occupied countries were systematically forced to serve at Japanese military brothels. Many of the victims say they were raped every day by 30 soldiers on average. The plight of these young girls and women was kept silent for decades, until Korean victims began speaking out in the early 1990s. Over the years, Tokyo has been reluctant to acknowledge the issue or appease the former sex slaves. A deal reached by Seoul and Tokyo to settle the issue in 2015 has been widely criticised by the Korean public, as the terms were deemed insufficient and didn't take into account the victims' wishes. The surviving women, now mostly in their 90s, continue to call for a sincere apology from Tokyo, along with proper reparations. But time is running out. Only 23 victims are still alive to this day. More than 200 registered victims have passed away over the last 25 years. But the records here preserve the memories of them and of the injustices and the shame that are still waiting to be redressed. Oh Seong, Arirang News.
Early adopters and tech kits around the globe are counting the hours, until the curtain is raised for the Mobile World Congress. Even before its official opening, some of the world's leading tech companies unveiled their latest devices at the press event. Kim Ji-yeon provides a glimpse of what to expect in this year's edition.
Intelligent connectivity, that is the theme for this year's Mobile World Congress, where some 2,400 companies from around the world, including Korea's Samsung Electronics, are showing off their latest products at the annual event. There are discussions on topics affecting the industry, including high-speed 5G networks, the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, and big data. Global tech giants as well as startups are showing off their latest products and services that incorporate these technologies as they aim to set the trends for the coming years and make our lives more convenient.
Korean smartphone maker LG Electronics released its new flagship smartphones in Barcelona, which is hosting one of the world's largest tech events, the Mobile World Congress, this week.
LG Electronics has unveiled its 5G smartphone, the V50 ThinQ. The new gadget offers rich multimedia features through its dual-screen accessory, which tacks on a second 16-centimeter OLED screen to the side of the V50, enabling users to move apps from one display to another quickly with touch controls on the lower display.
Now, 5G means things will happen in real time, break through the limitations of older technology, and bringing us a completely new experience that goes beyond just speed. IoT become a full-fledged system able to react instantaneously to one's thoughts. While the combination of flawless VR and high-definition video will introduce an ultra-realistic world previously unimaginable.
The company released its second phone, the G8 ThinQ, during the unpacking event, in which it said the device can be unlocked without touching the screen. Instead, the phone uses light sensors to scan the veins in the user's hand. LG says the method is more secure than other biometric scanners, such as face recognition or fingerprint authentication. Chinese tech giant Huawei also showcased its first 5G foldable smartphone, Mate X, ahead of the Mobile World Congress to take on Samsung Electronics' Galaxy S10 5G smartphone, which was unveiled last week in San Francisco. Kim Ji-yeon, Arirang News, Barcelona.
Time to turn to Michelle back at the Weather Center for the updates you need. Michelle, I hear the dusty conditions will still linger tomorrow.
Yes, Daniel, we were expecting the ultrafine dust levels to decrease a tad tomorrow, but most parts of the nation will still be blanketed by toxic dust until tomorrow morning. But the southern parts of Gyeonggi-do, Chungcheongbuk-do, and also Gyeongsang-buk-do provinces will be under bad levels of the fine dust all day long. And tomorrow there's going to be a good amount of sun to warm up Northeast Asia. In the nation, our daytime readings will be about 6 to 11 degrees higher than the seasonal average. But the morning hours, we are still in chilly conditions. Some regions such as Seoul will kick off with negative readings at -1 degree Celsius. And into the day, the mercury will reach to low to mid-teens. And the mild weather will continue throughout the week, and the southern regions will see frequent rain. And over in Hanoi, where the North Korea-U.S. summit preparations are well underway, it's usually dry in this time of the year, but rounds of showers lately have been proving that statement wrong. In fact, more showers are expected in store for us with warm daytime readings. I'll leave you with the weather conditions around the world.
That's all we could pack into tonight's edition of Arirang News Center. Wherever you may be tuning in from, thanks for staying with us.